All right. Hello, everyone. As you are joining, we are right at 7 o'clock on the dot Eastern Standard Time. We're getting ready to kick off our 2025 webinar for the Authors Impact Hub. So before I go into some things and introduce our special guest for this evening, I am your host, Juanita Woodson, founder of the Authors Impact Hub. And I'm super excited this year to bring industry professionals on with us, right? To be able to give us the tools, the resources that we need to make an impact with our author brands. So tonight we are joined by Jared Conway. So he is a new bookstore owner. He is a publisher. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his background. And he's going to explain the program that he has going on with his bookstore. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hey, how everybody doing? I'm Jared, like she said. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I have been publishing for about 5 years now. We've put out roughly about 15 to 16 books, actually going on 16 books. Through all that, we've had different authors of different backgrounds, different genres and things like that. And one of the biggest issues that we've come across with dealing with helping our authors get into stores and things like that, excuse me, was the different bookstores and how they were dealing with our authors. So a lot of the issues would be whether it was commission prices or anything from cuts and things of that nature. So I actually got into publishing to help with those things. So a lot of my authors, they have a lot more say, they have a lot more control of the narrative of their book. And that's really what we wanted to really drive home with how we got into publishing and things like that. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. My cousin, he's the big writer of our family. It's a family-owned business. Me and my cousin started it because of his book, which is called Illyria, Treachery, Beasts, and Treasures. It is a fantasy book. Being that it's a fantasy book, those are usually about a good 800, 600, big thick ones, like Harry Potter's and things like that. So he was really afraid of, I guess, how the culture has moved and society has showed us how publishing how scary they make publishing nowadays. That's the best way I can put it. Whether it's you got to pay exorbitant amounts just to get your book out, or they take huge fees and cuts on your work. And he didn't like any of that, to be honest with you. So we have this kind of idea here that we shouldn't make more than the author does, because at the end of the day, you put all the work in. You wrote the whatever it is type genre you wrote. You did all of that. So we feel like we shouldn't make more than you do when you did. We don't have a book without you. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, he ended up being our 7th actual author, and we've helped others put out their book and control their narrative and things like that. But going back to the bookstore, so the bookstore this is our first bookstore, and we wanted to do things a little differently, like I said, because of that background of working with other bookstores. We decided that we're going to do strictly indie published and strictly self-published authors. And because a lot of the bigger authors are the ones that are pushed, those you don't get to see, the great authors. I see Miss Danielle's on here. I see her book who gets to be talked about and things like that, because all the bigger authors are put in her section, or they're not doing too much for the local authors in town, even the ones in the state. You know what I'm saying? So different events and things like that to like really push people to try out these new authors. So that's what we came to do. With that being said, we came up with a interesting I guess, way of doing things. I would love to hear some of y'all feedback on. So how we would like to do it is kind of sort of like a subscription base in a way. Instead of the commission fees of, let's say your book is $20. Instead of the commission fee of cutting it in half at $10 just to put it on the shelf, and then that's it. You don't get too much unless you hear that, they sold out and want new books. it's not really, it doesn't really build a connection with the bookstore, and they're not doing too much to really push your book. Or we've heard stories where you only get commission based. You might get shelf space, but it's only based upon, once it's sold, you only make 20 to 30%, kind of like how Amazon and those other big markets are, Books a Million, Barnes and Nobles, and things like that. So with our bookstore, we want to, like I said, do things differently. So we would take the price of your book, which would be, let's say, $20 for sake of conversation. That would be your shelving fee. Your shelving fee will cover you for 3 months. In those 3 months, you only pay one time for the shelving fee. In those 3 months, any sale of your book, we only take $3 off, and of course we take out taxes. After that, all the funds is yours. You get to re-up as many times as you want. We plan to do different things where we can help you get some more sales, because it's an indie store, and also pushing self-published authors, finding new ways to actually bring people in to meet authors and things like that, whether that's book signings, book events, and building that community of indie authors. I feel like there's a lack of that in nowadays in, I guess, the world of publishing and books and things like that. I feel like we work strong together, but if we got together to actually push a store, I feel like we really could do something special, with helping get more eyes and more readers, books and things of that nature. Especially, like I said, going back to the Amazons and things of that world. People buy online, they don't really get to interact with the authors and things like that. And that's another thing we like to bring here at the Footnote. The Footnote is the name of the bookstore. We chose the Footnote because a lot of times indie authors and self-published authors, they're looked over. First-time authors, they're looked over, especially on big platforms such as Amazon and things like that. They might walk right past your book, and you might have the best book on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So to find a way to kind of bridge that gap, we want to do strictly indie authors and things like that help, so that y'all can see that we got just as good as books as the ones that are already big. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the basis of it. Any questions I would love to answer. I'm pretty sure I missed a couple of things. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I would love to answer any questions that y'all have, and feedback also, because I wanted this store to become y'all's place for community and things like that. Like, we have a lot of things in stores, such as, like I said, of course, author signings and things like that, but also have live reviews, so people that come in can actually read reviews that people have said about your book and things like that. These are the important things that help the word get out about indie authors and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I definitely would love to hear, not just, I have a couple questions for y'all. I know y'all probably have questions, but one of the questions that I do have is, what would y'all like to see in a store that strictly pushes indie authors and self-published authors? What are some things that y'all would want or have wanted when dealing with other bookstores and things like that? So I would love to open the floor up to y'all as well. Hello. Hey, Miss Paula.
Hi. Did I say something? Sorry. I did not mean to say anything.
Oh, you're good. I heard you. So, but does anybody have any questions or anything like that? I'd love to.
So I guess I'm assuming it's a brick and mortar store. So where is it
Yes, sir.
actually located?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's East 515th Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're actually connected to a couple other buildings. There's a Bird Pizzeria, is one of the big pizza spots in Charlotte. There's a lot of traffic that comes through there. Across the street from us is called Optimus Park. They have a lot of eatery areas and things like that. The building that we're actually in is full of young creators, from digital printing to photography to they're even been shooting movies and podcasts and things in this building as well. And we also have an event space that we can use as we please. So definitely a lot of things that a lot of growing has been happening in this area. So that's why we chose it.
And I'll just jump right in and say one thing that I definitely, you said, what would we like to see?
Yes,
What about an indie author book festival, right? What about
that'd be awesome.
something tailored
Yeah,
to specifically to indie authors? So I've been to a few different book festivals, and those big name authors, right? They get the shine. And I don't even like to call us like small authors, right? Because the
same,
that we
same.
put into it, we're big name authors as well.
Yes, of
But
course.
when you sign on with like traditional publishing companies, you do sometimes get overlooked. So definitely like indie author book festival. I think that would be amazing as well.
I think that would be awesome. Like I said, we have this event space. Also, we have some area outside that we also could plan something as well. They gave us free range when it came to actually working with literature and things like that. Um, so I would love to put together a indie festival with everyone's input and or different people's input who's interested in it and coordinating it so that we could do it properly. Whether that's panels, workshops, because people always have questions about starting to do books, to put out books, things like that. And that's really what we got into it for, was to help people reach that goal or that dream of putting out books. And I think if we work together, we could do that and help a lot of people out. So, and then you get to meet a lot of people. So that was the other thing, is like the interaction side of it. I can't tell you, gosh, there's so many stories that I have of what books have done, and just the authors that I've had, and what their books have done for their families or friends, and then from there reaching out and telling other people about what they have going on, and then they recommend the book, and then now you just made a new reader, somebody else to interact with. And because we're indie and self-published, building that relationship with your readers puts you on a whole different level, because the bigger authors and things like that are untouchable now. Now is that perfect time to like really get to know your readers, what they love to hear about you, what they or love to read, I should say. Um, Read what you have and things like that, and be able to help push as we grow. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else have any questions? Because I have a few, so I can keep going with my questions, but I want to make sure that
For
your
sure.
voice is heard.
Was there anything else that like y'all would like to see? Because like I said, I want to make the store really like for indie authors and our self-published authors and things like that. Even indie publishers. I'm open to helping with publishers as well. Just because I feel like we don't do enough in this space. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do kind of, just to go back to maybe what that breakdown looks like, right? For somebody that
Yes.
may watch the replay and they're like, hey, I'm considering this. So what are you able to give us an example of what that subscription or commission kind of looks like?
Okay. So this is one of my authors, Miss Lindsay Blue. She has she has a poetry book, and her book is $20, right? So we would put the book on the shelf for 20 books. That $20, sorry about that. That's how much the shelving fee would be. So just to have space on the shelf would be the price of your book, whatever price that is. Now we house up to 3 books. So we would have 3 books on the shelf of her one title. So if you want to put multiple titles up, we try to limit it to about 3, because we have a lot of different authors and sending things in, things like that. So we don't want to take up too much space of other people. You know what I'm saying? But for one title, like I said, it's the price of the book. After that, there's anything that is sold, we only make $3, and we take taxes out, which is usually about $1.75 here. So after that, you can re-up as much as you want. So of course, we'll be in regular contact with any book sales that come up or events that come up, of course. But let's say your book sells out, right? Because that's the goal here. We're trying to sell books. You know what I'm saying? So we'll sell out the first 3 books. You don't have to repay that shelving fee until your 3 months is up. So you can re-up with 3 books as many times as you would like. And of course, by that time, you would make way past your money back because we're going to sell it at the price that you set it at. We're not going to cut prices of what you value your book at or what you decided that your price would be. That's your price. That's always been a big thing for us too, is you set your price. So if that is your price, that's what we're putting it at. That's what we're selling it at. But let's say, just like I said, Lindsay's book here, she sold 3 books, $60, right? Like I said, after that shelving fee, we take $3 off of each. So let's say 9 for taxes, just for sake of the conversation. We'll say $10 was taken out completely. So you will go home with $50 when we pay out every 2 weeks. So once we let you know that you can re-up and the books are sold out, no fee, we can put the next 3 up there, and that is regular income coming in, because that's a big thing that we wanted to also help with. Was we felt that the payouts on being in other stores is much lower, or you don't really see too much of a return. So we want to make sure that our authors are also seeing returns. Any questions? I hope I explained that well. Like I said, after that 3 months is up, we can renew. So like, let's say you want to take the books out, or you like how it's going, you want to try it out another 3 months, then we will renew then. If you're in for that 3 months. Now, my bad. Also, let's say you're selling well, right? Let's say you've sold about 9 to 10 books. If we're selling that well, we want to give you a discount because we would love to keep you in the store. You know what I'm saying? So if your book was $20 and we've sold about 9 to 8 of your books, you've you sent more books about 2 or 3 times, we would love to cut that price to help to keep you in the store, and keep you connected with the readers that are connecting with you. So that shelving price would go down probably about $4 to $5 depending on what we negotiated. But yes, and that was the other thing, is like constantly communicating with our authors as we're going. Yeah. Any other questions?
It sounds very interesting. I know that I'm willing to participate, uh, which I'm glad you said the last part about the show and fee. If you sell more books, because I was going to ask if in doing so, if we go back, if we decided we wanted a longer span of 3 months,
Yes.
would there be a discounted price for that, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We also have options for, like, if you want to start out with a longer, I guess, contract than the 3 months. We're okay with doing a 6 or a 9, things like that we've negotiated. So we just wanted to really cater to the authors, because, a lot of times you get into a store and it might not fit you. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. So you want to get out, that's perfectly fine. We still want to support you, whether that's on our Instagram or social media sites and things like that. We still want to support you. So however you please to move on, we love to do that.
That was going to be my question. So, right, with the bookstore placement, what type of marketing is potentially available for the authors that are placed in the bookstore?
Yes. So we're actually working on building an even better marketing team than we already had, in place. We've been looking out, especially working with people like Authors Impact and things like that. But yes, definitely from the marketing standpoint, we would have things like I said, book signings and things like that, of course. Different, especially if we have, like, I guess, let's say a book is selling really well, we would love to find ways to have you come speak to some of the readers. Like I said, we'll have live, we call it live, but live reviews and things like that. We also, the website will be up in about hopefully in a week or 2. We're just waiting on a couple things to be finished up. So of course we'll have banners and things like that to push our authors. We're working to get into a lot more of the local news and things like that. So we've been pushing flyers out as well. We have a couple cool different games and things coming down the pipe. I don't want to give out too much, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of different things that we have in store to like really push our authors, not just on the social media and the platforms that you can, but also be on foot, you know, actually getting out and pushing our authors as well. Yeah, for
I love
sure.
it. I'm all things marketing, so that I love to hear that. So definitely let me know, how we can partner in that way to really push
Definitely.
authors. So are there any other questions? Anything that you all can think of? Listen, we have I'm gonna call you the bookstore guru, right? You're launching your own bookstore. So
Yes,
if you can maybe even just express to us the importance of bookstore placement, right? Because I know a lot of times we're online. We're happy that we got
right.
on Amazon, but outside of that, how important is it to get your book into physical stores?
I would say extremely important. And I try to really push that to the authors that I've had, and now the authors that I will have in the bookstore, because a lot of times when people go to Amazon and things like that, if they don't know you already, the likelihood of them actually picking up your book is very low. Whether rather than actually being in a bookstore, people might come across it or, you know, pick up a title. They love the cover art, things like that. To like actually get hands on your book is special. And I feel like we kind of dismiss it sometimes because we've been so on social media and on the internet as much. We really dismiss it, and that was another reason why I wanted to start the bookstore, was because if I see somebody come into the store and they pick up the book, oh, that's such and such. Oh, she has this, this, and this. That was another reason, like, that I wanted to create this community of interacting authors and things like that, because now I can tell you about the author. I can have the live reviews, like I said, and people are reading what people are saying about these books, and that's another beauty of it, is like I don't feel like we're having enough experiences in bookstores anymore. And by that I mean, like, you're not really going in without a plan anymore as we used to. You know what I'm saying? Like, people used to sit in libraries for days and just pick up different books, and there are people that still do that. But having a place strictly for somebody you have never heard of and get to experience their book and things that they have going on in their book, or whatever genre it is, whether it's poetry, fantasy, religion, hearing somebody's different perspective, what the norm is, I feel like really adds a different spark to the store, I guess. And I feel like that will help a lot with the indie side of things, as well as the customer, because I personally miss things like the book fair, being in school and going to the book fair and not necessarily knowing about some of the books and things like that, and picking up something and be like, I try it out, you know, or reading the back of it and things like that. You can't really do that on the internet, you know what I'm saying? So that brick and mortar store is still very important to the book community, and we want to really trailblaze that in a way, with the indie authors and indie publishers and things like that. Yeah. So I do have another question for y'all. So, like, I know I said, what would y'all like to see? What do you feel like bookstores are lacking? I guess that would be a question for me. Because I take it the majority of y'all are authors or working to become authors and things like that. So, like, in your experience, what are things that y'all feel that, oh, if this bookstore had this, it would take it I'd be here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or this would really pull me in to actually interact with this bookstore more often. Like, what are some things that y'all look for that would pull y'all in a little bit?
This is Danielle. Hey, Jared.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
For me, I would say like a coffee shop. Like I love that. Like Barnes and Noble for sure.
Okay.
Like when I go in there and they have the Starbucks, and then they have where you can sit and just read. I like the ones with the coffee shops.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I'm actually glad you said that. So with that being said, Miss Danielle actually came out to check out the space. It was a pleasure meeting her in person. With that being said, we're also working with I'm actually working out a couple contracts and things to work with the local people that are selling drinks, or they create their own drinks or cookies, candies, and things like that. We have like a bar set up here at the Footnote. So we actually will have some of the local businesses selling drinks or snacks and things like that. And we have a couple seating spots. So we've been working on that a little bit too. So yes, ma'am.
Great.
I would say for me, because I do poetry for the
Yes,
first
sir.
couple of books and even a little bit spoken word, it'd probably be nice to have like a small stage that somebody can get up and read and perform or something like that. Doesn't have to be huge, but just a
For
platform.
sure. Yeah. And like I said, y'all, I'm loving what y'all are saying. In the feedback, we have an event space and it actually has a stage and we can move it and shake it however we need. And it's directly connected to the street. So a lot of people, it's easy to access to get in and things like that. But the event space is for that, for poetry events. I actually was just at an event. They had an event down there last week, and had a couple singers that were in the community and things like that. And they had their stage and the audio is done right and everything, and the acoustics sound amazing. So I I think we definitely could do a spoken word. I've been to a lot of poetry slams and things like that. We have a few poetry authors. One of our book signings was actually one of our craziest book signings was on Black Friday in the mall, and we was having a poetry slam at one of the stores at the mall with a poetry author, and she was speaking. We have a couple of other people that came out to do their poetry and things like that. But now that we have an event space connected to the store, it's awesome that we could also definitely do that for sure.
I did have one more question, and you may
Yeah.
have answered this. So, are there any specific genres that you don't accept in the bookstore?
So right now, I have not
No.
dismissed any genres. I haven't. See, our main thing was we don't want to hurt, hatred, anything along those lines. Of course, anything pushing children into things they don't need to be into, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, we haven't so far had any books like that. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. So we definitely have been taking all genres. We don't want to pigeonhole to just strictly one genre. So we've had religion books. We've had some people from overseas that actually want to send in a couple books and things like that. Of course, poetry, fantasy, children's book. Shout out to Miss Paula and all y'all. Things like that. Romances. We have a few romances. So yeah, we definitely want to kind of cater to all the different types of readers.
Awesome. So I have authors who are not even a part of the community on Facebook. People find website on, they find us online. So I just wanted to ask that because people will watch the replay and they may ask that, okay, well, is my book able to go in the bookstore? So I was trying to ask that.
Yes, definitely. And that's another big thing. Like I said, I want to build that community. I'm so happy that I can meet those of y'all that came on and those that see it later. We actually do have a sign-up sheet and a flyer where I guess the quote unquote the the meetup or how to get in, you actually get to sit down and talk to me for a little bit, and we get to go over how we plan to do things in the bookstore and how we can help you best. You know what I'm saying? And you can email me at blueshadespublishing@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email, ask me, if you're interested or anything along those lines about the bookstore or what's coming up. I would love to chat and talk and help the best way that I can. Yes, I can repeat it. blueshadespublishing@gmail.com. Thank you, Miss Monita. But yeah, definitely, you can hit me up at any time. send me an email. We could talk one-on-one. Everyone that's been in the bookstore so far, we have talked one-on-one because I want to build that rapport and things like that so that I can properly push you and your book to those customers that come in that would like to read your book or check it out and things like that. So, yeah. Any more questions? Anything?
Yeah, just one. And you might have said this. So, so is the bookstore open or
So,
it's still in the works?
right. So, have somebody coming out to fix something, dealing with the building. They're supposed to be here by the end of the week. So as long as that goes as planned, we'll be opening next week. So we'll do like a little soft, launch. I'll throw a couple posts and things like that, and then definitely schedule our big one. So all of our authors that we've been taking in so far, it won't even start. Their 3 months won't start until the date that I give for the exact date of the bookstore being open and things like that. So just some setbacks, like I said, with the building. They're coming in to fix on something to make sure everybody is safe, of course, and because we're in the building, they have to do that. But yeah, so by next week, definitely we'll be doing like a soft launch, I guess, and then we'll be scheduling our big grand opening and stuff like that. So yes, ma'am.
And where can we follow you on social media? So when you make that announcement, we can be like, okay, there it is.
Definitely. So one of the main ones is Blue Shades NC. That's on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me or anybody connected to Blue Shades. There's also the Footnote. Now I might be butchering this one because it's my new Instagram. I just started this, but I believe it's THE and then FOOTNOTE. Footnote. Juanita, you might have to check me on that one to make sure, but yep. But those are the two ways to get a hold of me. Also, I forgot to mention this. We also do a magazine. The magazine is to push not just authors and things like that, but small business owners, innovators, creators, and things of that nature. Right now, we've been doing majority of the state of North Carolina. We plan to expand it to have different states and people from all over to be in the magazine. Like I said, another thing, building community to try to bring people together to build more word about what's going on, in the nation and things like that, from local sports to different eatery spots to go to and things like that. So we've been working it's been coming together real nice. So that's another thing that Blue Shades does.
Okay, yeah, because you just tapped into another level with the magazine here, because I know
Yes.
authors are looking for magazine placement. So you said, is this already released or is this something that's coming?
Yes. No, we've had 2 issues come out already, where we're actually working on the 3rd installment of the magazine. The magazine is called Pariah. That's also out there. Instagram for that is PARIAH.magazine. That's also on Instagram. Like I said, we have put out 2 magazines so far. I actually have a meeting about it tomorrow to start putting together the bones and things for the 3rd installment of Pariah magazine. Pariah means outcast. So being that, kind of like indie authors, they kind of push us to the side sometimes. Sometimes the bigger name people, they get all the front covers and things like that. So we kind of wanted to, I guess, do something different where we can connect with the people that are actually on magazines and stuff like that. Not saying that we can't connect to, whoever your big celebrity idol is or, whatever, but hearing stories of, I guess, the American dream and things like that, of people who are just like you and me, who are doing the work that they can to put out their business or talking about what they've innovated or created, building a space for that, I think is going to help a lot of people also. Of course, we'll be selling the magazine in store as well and at a couple of different locations. So yeah, we definitely love to have our authors in there. We're actually working on having a section in the book strictly for authors. We're going to call it the blue pages. So that page will be strictly blue, and then of course that would be a couple of our author features for that excuse me, for that issue. We plan to do issues quarterly throughout the year. Like I said, it's we're doing a little differently. So I'd love for y'all to stay tuned for that. Yeah. Any other questions or anything?
I think this is incredible. Appreciate your time. I'm taking the time to know. So we'll
I
definitely be
appreciate that.
connected.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
This has been great information. I can't wait to touch base with you about this
Yeah.
because this is the first time
Yeah, my bad.
I got that one. So I want to make sure that, even I'm in Georgia but we do have a lot of authors who are in North Carolina, right? So we
Awesome.
want to make sure that we connect, but then even just like beyond that, right? Because author, you're in Indiana.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got that right.
that'd be
Paul
awesome.
in Virginia, right?
Yes.
So I just continue expanding your network. You're doing great
Awesome.
things, right? I love to
Appreciate
see
that.
young Black men just being innovative in the things that they're doing. So continue doing that. Did you all have any other questions for Jared before we wrap up our first webinar for 2025? I appreciate you kicking us off.
I thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Any questions or anything? If not, like I said, feel free to reach out to me at blueshadespublishing@gmail.com. Either that or my Instagram, blueshadesnc. Those, like I said, are the quickest ways to get a hold of me. Now, after that, now we became cool and everything, I'll send my number out. You can call me or something. But before then, would love to chat with y'all and really build a rapport, because I really got into this not just for the business side of things and to make money and help people and things like that, but like really have a heart for helping authors and creatives. Oh, hello. Yep, got you. But I really have a heart to help people, and that's why I got into the business. And now that we're opening this bookstore, that's the goal. Especially being the footnote. That's that little detail that we sometimes skip over. That's very important to the story. So I would love to be a footnote in y'all's story as well to help push y'all as y'all grow as well. So yeah, it was dope. I appreciate y'all having me. Like I said, feel free to hit me up. Again, that is blueshadespublishing@gmail.com or on Instagram, blueshadesnc.
Yeah.
And I'm Jared, by the way.
Thank you so much, Jared, for taking your time out on Monday. So, of course, the replay will be live on YouTube later in the week. Make sure when y'all see this, share it with somebody who missed it, right? Sometimes you have to actually be present to get all the gems, because we are going to edit this one. So you might miss some of those, right? But you want to make sure that you connect with Jared on social media, and then we'll make sure that we send out the information, right? So I'll send out the email and then also your Instagrams.
Yeah. One last thing, and I'm glad you said that because it reminded me of it. We are still taking books. So don't feel as if it's too late. Don't feel as if, I missed the mark or anything like that. We are still taking books, and we plan to always be taking books, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Books as well as magazines. We're also thinking about opening it up to selling a few accessories if you have accessories that come with your books and things like that. So don't feel like you missed out. Definitely feel free to hit us up so we can work something out and try to help you out. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was my last thing. So y'all have a good one.
That was great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of these authors in the bookstore. I can't wait to see everybody just make an impact this year. So make sure y'all stay connected. So we'll have another webinar next month in February. This one's going to be on some editing basics, right? So make sure you stay tuned for the information on that one. Until next time, y'all have a safe evening.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.